Some people don't know, but federal law actually prohibits the federal government from controlling a public school's curriculum. That has not stopped the Trump administration from trying real hard. The Department of Education is partnering with 40 conservative nonprofit organizations to roll out a new civics program for public schools called the America 250 Civics Education Coalition, which is a fantastic name. According to the coalition's website, the program will include state tours, lectures, student competitions, and teacher summits. The America First Policy Institute, also a great name, a nonprofit conservative group, will help lead that effort alongside organizations like the Heritage Foundation and PragerU. The U in PragerU doesn't stand for university, by the way. For context, the Heritage Foundation brought you Project 2025, which aims to dismantle much of the federal government, but particularly the Department of Education, cutting funding for schools that serve low-income students and children with disabilities, as well as prohibiting curriculum that deals with race or LGBTQ rights. As for PragerU, which is not a university, is an unaccredited nonprofit organization that specializes in creating right-leaning, and I'm being, a little generous there, short educational videos for children and adults. I'm going to give you an example. This is the kind of content that PragerU is already putting in classrooms.
Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no? I don't see the problem. You must ask yourself, what did the culture and society of the time treat as no big deal?
One of the most beautiful things God has created is a woman's smile. It can fill a room with energy and joy. Just try smiling and see how it affects the people around you. Don't be a crusty old man.
These are the kinds of organizations now partnering with the federal government to shape curricula in schools nationwide. It's part of Donald Trump's larger agenda to, quote, return education to the states, even though the federal government now seems more involved with school curricula than ever before. Beyond K through 12, the Trump administration has forced colleges and universities across the nation to eliminate diversity programs and make institutional policy changes that align with Donald Trump's political agenda. Randi Weingarten, the president of the American Federation of Teachers, unpacks why all of this matters in her new book, Why Fascists Fear Teachers. She writes, quote, a citizenry unable to think critically about history and policy and news and information is a public ripe for autocracy and fascism. Public schools and public school teachers help create thoughtful and engaged students capable of reviving and strengthening democracy in perpetuity. And fascists don't like that, because fascists don't like democracy. And they know that the best way for the American people to willingly hand over power to authoritarian figures is if we believe fascist fear-mongering, disinformation, and propaganda. Ironically, the far right accuses teachers of indoctrination to distract from the fact that they're the ones who are actually trying to indoctrinate the next generation. The aforementioned Randi Weingarten joins me now. Randi, thank you for being here, as always. This is, I don't even know where to start, but we played that PragerU cartoon of a guy sort of talking about how, you know, being enslaved is definitely better than being killed, right? Like this justification, the curtailing of things that the Smithsonian is doing because too much emphasis on slavery. This is wild that we are reversing from critical thinking about things that we did in this country that were wrong, but we've learned from, or at least we thought we were learning from.
So part of the, first off, thank you for having me on.
Pleasure.
Part of the reason I very intentionally used the term fascist in the title was I don't call anyone a fascist. I didn't want the book to be about a debate of is he or isn't he. That was not my point. My point is that a lot of Americans don't even know what fascistic or authoritarian behavior is.
Right.
And so, and frankly, look, I am a lawyer, a union activist, and a US Gov teacher. The way in which we teach history in America is we teach about our country mostly. We don't really teach about comparative governments. And so this notion about what authoritarians do, the disinformation, the misinformation made really easily available because there's no guardrails on social media anymore. Then what happens is you saw with PragerU, that video, this kind of view that we're going to go back to this glorious past.
Right.
Whereas in the last 50 or 60 years, what we've done is we've said opportunity for all. And like, let America be about the land of the free, the home of the brave for all, including all who come here. So it is a really different view of what America should be and who should have the bounty of America and who shouldn't. And what happens in schools, this is part of the reason why school teachers are really the antidote to all of this, and why they were, before Jimmy Kimmel, before the media was being undermined in the way it's been undermined right now, before, you know, Donald Trump went and told Pam Bondi to more quickly deal with the people he opposes. Before all of this, there were the culture wars around public education.
Right.
And why? Because what do you think schools are? Here, Canada, other places, they are the places where people come together, people who are not like each other.
Right.
And where you celebrate diversity and inclusion, and where you try to create opportunity for all. And then, and this is the thing that none of these propagandists who are in Linda McMahon's, you know, new, you know, civics, so-called civics curriculum, she didn't use any of the bipartisan groups. She only used propagandists. But this is where they trip up. The founders, the framers of this Constitution of ours, understood that critical thinking was absolutely key to stopping tyrants.
Right.
They did not want tyrants. And so when you see all these propagandists try to undermine critical thinking, they are trying to stop our kids from being able to understand fact from fiction, to understand disinformation and misinformation. Right. And we, as teachers in the United States, regardless of whether we get smeared, vilified, we are going to do everything in our power to create schools to be safe and welcoming, to make sure curriculum is engaging and relevant, and to give kids the skills so that they can think. Not what to think, but how to think.
And that's the distinction, right? You can use any example you want. We can go back to Germany in the 1930s. We can go to Rwanda. We can go to the Balkans. We can go to Iran. We can go to China. We can go to Israel. We can go to Pakistan. We can go to Hungary today, India today. It's all an example of, if you give up your ability to think critically, to hold power to account, to dissent, it's over. It doesn't really matter what the lesson is, what the course work is. It's are you learning to say, I don't believe everything I hear. I know how to find other information. I know how to research. I know other information is available, which is part of our book banning problem, right?
Exactly.
They're taking it away. The people dealing with book banning, you write about this on page 44 of your book. It's the teachers and the librarians who are fighting this fight.
Exactly.
They're at the front lines.
And one wonders, like when a young person comes into, look, I taught 11th and 12th grade for everybody who's watching. Of course, we have to be age appropriate. Of course, books have to be age appropriate.
No teacher or author disagrees with that.
But when no teacher in America or in America's public schools walk into the first day in class and say to kids, okay, the Democrats sit here, the Republicans sit here, the independents sit here. We don't do that. Like, we try to make every single child feel welcome. And we want to make sure that kids are safe. Look at what they're doing in LA right now. I'm really proud of them. Parents and teachers every day line the streets to a school to make sure that ICE can't take kids.
Right.
That is protecting children. And so part of what our job is, which is why you see this attack on teachers this week, attacking teachers, firing teachers. I saw an article today that the Proud Boys are now going to go now going to be part of this firing of teachers. This is about not having us do what we need to do for kids to have the skills and knowledge they need. Let them make their decisions. Yeah. If they like Donald Trump, fine. If they don't like Donald Trump, fine. That's right. They need to have the skills and knowledge to make their own decisions. So that's public education.
You write about Jason Stanley in your book. You reference Jason.
Yes.
Jason uses this term all the time. You know, he's of German extraction, German Jewish extraction. He uses this expression that I never remember. It's a German word, but it was the precursor to the Holocaust, this coordination. Yes. Everybody in government everybody, not just government, everybody in government and private life had to be on the same page. public education in America is actually to determine that it is not for the government to determine the page.
No.
Right? It is for you to determine how you make sense of the reality around you.
Exactly. Our job, the most important thing I could say to your audience is our job is to teach kids how to think, not what to think.
Right.
Now, there's a value system in America about opportunity, about justice, about freedom, about liberty, about how to make sure that we don't demean and undermine, how we lift everyone up. And so that is a value system that we believe in. But what to think? Somebody wants to be a Republican, somebody wants to be a Democrat. There's a Yiddish term my grandmother used to say, Zeigesund. Do what you want to do.
Right.
Let's have those healthy fights. Let's have that civil discourse. Let's have debate. Could you imagine if the Trump administration actually called even one of the groups of civics to say, join us? What are they so afraid of?
Right.
Why are they afraid of children? Like in my era, when I was a kid, that button, question authority.
Yeah.
Like the paper clip that Norwegian teachers would wear and during Nazi occupation. Let's actually, if you believe in freedom, let's actually make our kids free thinkers.
What a place to end it. Thank you for writing the book. Thank you for always being here to help us. And thank you for what the teachers in this country are doing to stand up for the rights of our students and our public school students. Randi, great to see you as always.
Thank you. Thank you,
Randi Weingarten is the president of the American Federation of Teachers. She's the author of the brand new and very important book, Why Fascists Fear Teachers, Public Education and the Future of Democracy. We'll be right back.